Hello friends, welcome back to Random Hearts and welcome to our kitchen. Today we are going to be making a recipe, but this is not any recipe. This is a recipe for our dog. We are going to be making peanut butter dog treats because today is a special day. Today, Tippy turns 15 years old. Now that's pretty old in dog years. I'm not exactly sure how many human years that is. But Tippy has slowed down in the last couple of years. She does not go up and down stairs like she used to and sometimes needs assistance. We also purchased a dog stroller this year so that she could go on walks with us because she can no longer walk on her own for very long. It is just too hard on her little dachshund back. Now, Tippy is a miniature dachshund and she has lived with us since she was 8 weeks old, so this is the only home she has ever known. And the other day I was going through my recipe box and I found this recipe at the back of it. And it's written in my daughter's handwriting, which I'm betting it's almost 15 years old as well. And so that puts my daughter at about 9 or 10 years old when this was made. So the last time this was made, she was very young. My daughter was very young, and now she is 24 and the dog is 15. But we are going to make this a peanut butter dog treat today. We are going to have the recipe because I don't think Tippy can eat 2.5 dozen of these cookies. But she is doing well. She's sleeping right now. That's what she does most of her day. And we'll just get into how we make these dog treats. Here is what you will need for today's dog treat. You are going to need 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour, 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose white flour. You are going to need 1/4 cup of natural peanut butter. You do need to make sure it's natural because all other peanut butters typically have sugar in them. You do not want to add that extra sugar. This one just has peanuts and some palm oil. You're also going to need 1/2 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of oil. I am using canola oil here, but you could use a vegetable oil of another type or you could use olive oil. Just make sure that you know what your dog can and can't have. Some dogs are allergic to wheat, so this would not be a good treat for them. We are also going to be using a small cookie cutter. I used to have a bone-shaped cookie cutter, but I no longer have that, so we're just going to use this little tiny round one, and that's all we're going to need today. Let's get started. To begin this recipe, we are going to be starting with our liquids in this mixing bowl. We are going to put in that 1/2 cup of water, and I'm actually going to reserve just a little of it. I want to make sure this dough is not too stiff or too wet. I'm going to put in that tablespoon of oil and then 1/4 cup of peanut butter. Now, when if you've never had raw peanut butter or natural peanut butter before, it does get an oily residue on the top, and you just kind of need to stir that in to remix that. And we are going to use a measuring cup today. I would normally use my plunger, but I already had this 1/4 cup dirty from getting the flour out, and I didn't want to make another dish, so We are just going to use it this way. Now I've got my 1/4 cup of peanut butter, my water and my oil in here, and I'm just going to mix those up. I may grab a whisk. Okay, I have got my whisk. I'm just going to quick set that to the side because I probably will need my spatula one more time. But I'm just going to mix that together until I get a nice mixture. Now, peanut butter and water don't like to mix very well, so this might take a little bit of doing, but you'll see that it is coming together. Okay, and that is probably all the more I will need of that whisk. We'll go back to the rubber spatula. And we are gradually going to add in those flowers. I want to add them a little bit of each at a time and then stir. I want this dough to kind of stiffen up on its own. And remember, I have not added all the water at this point. So I may have to add some more water. We just want a stiff dough to form. And I am going to be rolling this out on the counter here in a little bit, so you do need a rolling pin. You could probably flatten these by hand, I guess, if you don't have one. We're going to throw in the rest of that flour. I'm going to add our water, the remainder. And let's just get this to combine. I am definitely going to have to pull it out onto the counter and knead it by hand here in just a second. Now, just like working with any other kind of dough, I do want my counter to be a little bit floured. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of flour to the surface of my countertop. And then I'm going to dump this out onto it. I may have to add a little bit of water here in just a minute, depending on how dry this is. But I always want to err on the caution side of too dry rather than too wet, because it's really hard to fix it once it's too wet. All right, let's get this mixed together here. And this will take me a few minutes, so we may speed this process up. When I found this recipe at the back of my recipe box, I was flooded with the emotions of the first time that we made these dog treats for Tippy. It was the first Christmas that we had her, and our children wanted to make some special items for her for Christmas. And these dog treats were one of them. We also did a handcrafted jar with her name and some frosted glass on it. And I still have that. We're going to put her treats into that jar when we get done here. We also made her a fuzzy fleece blanket and tied that up, and she still has that. And I am just reminded of how much fun that we had that Christmas when we put these treats together for her. Now that I've got the dough semi-formed, I'm going to go ahead and roll this out to a 1/4 inch thick. That will make these treats a little bit easier for the dog to eat. They'll also cook up a little more quickly. I am not going to cook these for the full 15 to 20 minutes that the recipe is calling for. I do want them to be a little bit on the softer side for Tippy. She does not have a lot of teeth, so it is not easy for her to eat a really crunchy dog treat. But do be aware that if you don't cook these too thoroughly, they may mold in their container. So you do need to make sure you've got them in a nice airtight container. And then we're just going to take that cookie cutter and we're going to press it in. Pop it up, and that is our doggy biscuit. I am kind of sad that I got rid of that little dog biscuit cookie cutter at some point, but that would have been super cute today, but I wasn't going to go out and buy a new one just for this occasion. So this round circle will have to do, and don't worry, the leftovers that are being left by the cut will be re-rolled and all of it will be used. All right, got my cookie sheet ready, and because these are perfectly sized, they'll fit right on my cookie sheet. These should not expand like regular cookies because they have nothing in them for leavening. No eggs, no baking soda or baking powder. we should be good to go. They will stay put and stay this size. They will not even really puff up in the oven. So we're going to go ahead and get these ready for the oven, and I do need to get my oven preheated. All right, this oven is preheated at 350 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 trays into the oven. I am going to stack them. I do have a convection oven, so there is airflow. If you do not, you might need to be very careful because tops and bottoms of ovens do cook at different rates. But that's going to cook for about 15 minutes. I will check them after 12. So I'm going to set a timer for 12 minutes. My timer just went off. I did check them at 12 minutes, but they weren't quite ready. I do want them a little bit on the hard side. So these are at 15 minutes and they are still a little bit soft. I don't want them too hard for my dog because she does not have a lot of teeth. But these can go anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull them right now. I think those are good for her. You might want to cook them a little bit longer if you have a bigger dog. But that is going to do it for us. I'm going to get this oven off because it is too darn hot for an oven. Well, friends, that's going to do it for us today. We made our peanut butter dog treats. They are cooling on the stove right now. I left them directly on the cooling tray, or on the tray. I didn't even put them on a cooling rack. And I'll just let those cool completely, and then we'll put them into an airtight container for storage. Now, Tippy is going to love these tonight because we not only have these dog treats, but we went to our local pet store and picked up a little tiny tub of Ben & Jerry's doggy style ice cream. And so she will get that along with a couple of these treats, and I know she's going to love it. But I have to be honest with you, this was a very tough video to put together because I know that my dog is getting up there in age and we have a very limited time with her. I know that she has slowed down a lot in the last couple of years. She no longer stands very well on her own. And it's disheartening sometimes to think about. But then today, while I was making these treats, I realized how much time we really have had with our dog and how special that time has been. So this was a great thing for me to kind of reminisce and go back and have all those feels for everything that has happened. I was reminiscing about my kids and baking these. It was just a flood of emotions, and I'm just grateful that you were here to watch that. So thank you very much for being here. I know this is a very random video, especially for some of you that were here for maybe a nail polish video. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section down below. And if you haven't considered subscribing, please do. I know we put out a lot of random videos, but trust me, if you find something you want and you like on this channel, I guarantee we'll have another video eventually on that same topic. So just hang with us and watch what you want and just click off of whatever you don't. But we appreciate you being here. We hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.